Amazing.
Ready.
Seema, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
How are you? How are things?
I'm very good.
Amazing. I think we met in October.
Yeah.
We were filming some content for BBC Food.
Yeah.
All your food was great, but I have to say the peanut Induja chicken thighs you did were so damn good.
Really?
I genuinely still think about it to this day. And then when we finished, I love filming food festivals.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't? It's food. It's like fun. There's nothing serious about it. I remember like after the producer on that, I think it was Claire, and we were both like, those Induja chicken thighs were really good.
Oh my God, I'm so glad.
Oh my God, so good. We did like, I think it was 50 recipes for that
Yeah.
shoot with like, I can't remember, like 6 or 7 different talent.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, we're like, you can do chicken thighs. Like that one was good. So
Oh my God,
yeah, we definitely remember it.
Good, I'm glad.
If someone doesn't know you, who are you? What do you do?
My name is Seema Pankhania. I'm a food content creator and influencer, cookbook author. I love learning about food, teaching people about food, creating fun recipes that people can make at home.
At Seema Gets Baked.
At Seema Gets Baked on
And-
all socials.
And Seema Gets Baked is inspired by... Where does
Do you know what it is? It was actually when I was like 12 and me and my friends were like, oh, isn't that so funny? It's like you're smoking weed.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Hilarious.
It's so funny. And then we had just started, I just made it and I was just posting like photos of like food I ate and things like that when you're
yeah.
like 12.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like nothing serious. And now it's my career.
That's so cool.
Some agents have tried to get me to change it a few times because
Brand safe.
brand safe, but also there's a woman on, I don't even know if we can even include this, but there's a woman on the internet. If you type in Seema Gets Baked, there's a porn star.
Oh my
and
God.
And her thing is called Seema Gets Naked.
But like kind of, yeah.
So it's one letter away.
Your OnlyFans career just completely,
So
evaporated.
I was thinking of doing like a series where I find her. Because obviously Seema's not her real name, it's her alias name.
Oh, okay.
So-
she thought Seema and thought that's a great
that's
porn
a
star
great
name.
porn star. So I want to go find her and beg her to take it down.
Fine. God, this could be like WeWork, like
Yeah.
Seema Gets Adventurous, Seema
Exactly.
Gets.
I could do it all.
We could do
Apart
everything.
from the naked one. That's
Apart-
one.
hey,
that's
no.
the
Oh, you
one.
would have done it.
But she took it. She took it from me.
God damn it. I want to ask you about like the start of how you got into all of this because what is that sound? Because I'm really interested in like everything to do with media. Like I used to work in television and now
Yeah.
do like commercial branded content and also social media. I wanted to speak to someone who does stuff in the food space. I remember meeting you, thought you sounded lovely, checked out your content, it was great. So I wanted to just ask you about how you got your start, but I saw on your Instagram when I was looking you up like a few months ago, I was like, did you nearly die?
Yes.
What happened? I saw like the biggest fall off a cliff and then what looked
Yeah.
like the most makeshift havoc I've ever seen in my life of like a branch and a rag.
Yeah, literally a rag.
I was like, maybe now's not a good time to reach out, but I see you're obviously fine and doing very well.
I'm complete. It's actually so funny to think that happened 3 months ago.
It's not that long ago. You're doing great.
I'm actually like completely, I'm back to health. I'm doing well.
Well
Can't do a
done.
handstand. But
What
I
hap-
couldn't do that before anyway, so.
What happened?
So I was doing this trek in Colombia. I was doing it, we were gonna be out for about 2.5 months.
Nice.
Usually, me and my boyfriend usually go away in the winter time just to kind of escape
Love it.
the coldness. So we were like, okay, this year let's go to Colombia, Brazil, and maybe one more country.
Yeah.
So started in Colombia, did a month there, traveling. It was beautiful. It was so much fun. And then we did this trek called the Lost City Trek. I was already quite
Sounds
skeptical.
dangerous.
It sounds quite scary already. I was already quite skeptical because you have to walk like 15 kilometers a day.
Oh, that is a lot.
And it's quite a lot. And one of the days is 19 kilometers. I'm not a big hiker. I'm not really strong at all.
Right.
So I was quite scared. And the first day was one of the hardest days of my life. It was so difficult and so tiring. I thought I was at the back of the group and I was like, it was really hot and it was like a bit embarrassing and everybody, even like the really old people were like really good. And I was kind of
Do you want
like,
me to hold your bag?
I was like kind of pathetically at the end. And then my boyfriend was like, come on, hurry up. And it was just all a bit stressful.
It's pressure from everywhere.
Yeah, it was just pressure everywhere. It was really hot. And then on the third day, I was finally getting to the swing of things.
Yeah.
We kind of found out that
One foot in front of the other.
Yeah, I was like trotting along. We kind of found out that our trek leader was going way too fast.
Fine, okay.
So I was getting tired because I was probably like one of the weakest, but everyone else started to get tired really quickly too, because he was kind of like racing through. So the third day finishes, we're relaxing. There's this beautiful like pool at the bottom where you can like swim in and things like that. And we're kind of climbing on top of this cliff, and I'm at the top of the cliff, and I don't know what happens, but somehow, I guess maybe it was wet. I don't really remember. I could just remember being at the top of the cliff, and then I don't remember any of it. And then I kind of slipped, and I fell down 8 meters. I flipped. Someone said they saw me flip. I flipped and hit my head on a rock, and then fell into the water. And then I was in the water face down.
Oh my God.
My boyfriend saw me at the top, and then he dived in.
Oh, hero.
I don't even want to know what he must have felt.
8 meters is really high.
It's really,
like,
really
what's an
high.
Olympic diving
It's like
board?
this, yeah.
No, this is like
as in like
4.
this down.
Yeah. We're like on a second story.
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah.
it's like 2 large stories, 3 stories.
Yeah.
That's like Olympic diving boards.
Yeah.
When you're not planning to do it.
No, and I've also like, I've never like jumped off a cliff anyway, so I don't know what happened.
Oh my God.
And then...
And you don't remember any of that?
I don't remember any of the jumping, falling. There was no jumping.
I hope you fell.
I don't remember any of the falling. I just kind of... And then I kind of flipped myself over, and I was like paddling a bit, and then my boyfriend pulled me out the water. Yeah. We got some help. Someone like carried me up to like the base camp area. They tied me up to a hammock, because at this point we were third day of the trek, 15 kilometers a day in the middle of the jungle, no roads, no cars, no nothing. The best thing we would have probably had was a horse, but we couldn't like strap me to a horse. So instead, I got strapped to a literal hammock.
It's always in the worst places.
Yeah, where people were like sleeping in, like a literal hammock made out of like sticks and rags. They strapped me to that, tied me around it, because they didn't know what injuries I had, so I couldn't like move my neck or anything.
Do you remember like being wrapped up in that?
I don't remember any of that. So apparently, when I was in the hammock, I kept yelling out to my boyfriend, "Sam, take some videos. I want to make a TikTok." And obviously, he was like trying to make sure I just didn't die. And all these nurses, thankfully, there was lots of medics on the trek. So they were able to like help and check that I was okay and put me in the right position and things.
You were like, this will make an amazing TikTok.
I was like, make
angles,
sure
4K.
Bless him. So he was like also making sure I didn't die. But then because I had a concussion, anytime he left for more than a minute, I was like, where are you? Oh. And then he would have to run back from like whatever he was doing, having to pack our bags. He was covered in blood.
Oh my God.
Like his whole face was covered in blood. And then for about 3 hours, they like sprinted through the jungle.
Oh my God.
Every time they switched, they like sprinted and switched. So there was about 20 men, and they were like took turns carrying me through the jungle.
Wow. And you don't remember like just hours of going through the jungle? You were just in like a sort of makeshift womb.
Yeah, I was in a little
bleeding
room.
out.
I was like fine. I was like chatting. I was like having a great time.
I've been coming up with this new recipe idea. I don't know what you guys think.
Think about this.
I think about peanuts and India and chicken. Is that crazy? I don't know. Or you would have already done it by that point.
But I was thinking of new ideas, I was just having a great time. I was chilling.
Content.
They were playing music.
Oh, of course. It's a long time to carry a body. You gotta keep up morale.
Poor Seb was like carrying my bag and his bag, and like he lost loads of his clothes because they kind of like fell off in the run.
Sure.
Not off his body, off the like bag.
Yeah, okay.
And
I'd love to know who the first person who was like, guys, should we play some music? It's always like the first hour, like really intense, like, oh my God, she might die.
She's
but
like wailing. Can we like
we've
drum
got,
this out?
Should we just put on ABBA Greatest Hits just to keep morale up?
But yeah, I think they had a great, and there was like this one video I saw. I'm really glad I took the videos because I wouldn't have known about it otherwise. And also in those moments, you kind of need to be reminded to take videos.
Yes, of
like
course.
your first instinct isn't let me take a video.
To a story, to a narrative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like, thank God he did, because I wouldn't have known any of this.
No.
I also wouldn't have like believed it.
I could have
like,
lied,
yeah. He would have
Could
like,
have, like, you fell like 2 feet.
You actually,
You'd be really pathetic
you just
on
tripped
the
over.
They're like, no, babe, I swear it was like 8 meters. They ran for hours.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, sure. But
Did you have to take quite a lot of time? So did you get rushed back to London at that point?
So then we got to hospital. The first hospital didn't let us in because there wasn't enough room or something.
Not bloody enough.
They were like, she's
singing
fine.
ABBA. She's all right.
She's fine. What's your problem?
They got to be like, guys, serious face. We need to. I know we had a great time carrying her through the jungle, but we need to get her seen.
Then went to the second hospital. Finally got seen there. They like stitched up my wound. So I had a big gash on my forehead here. It was like completely open. My wrist was broken in like multiple places. Your
cooking wrist.
My cooking wrist.
Your
My
career,
cooking
your
wrist.
livelihood.
Exactly.
Your posting thumbs.
Like, how's it going to post it up my thumbs?
Who knows? Yeah.
And then I still was like, oh, let's just get this sewn up and let's just keep going.
Back on.
Back on. We'll get a week off. I'll chill in the sun.
Done.
Get the surgery done, chill out for a bit, and then we'll go to Brazil for Carnival.
Lovely.
That was the plan.
I was proper freelancer there. No, I can work. I can work. Don't worry.
It's so fine. And then my brother, he was like, "Fuck no, you're not doing that." And he was really, really nice about it. Like, it's quite funny if you read the text. He was like, oh, I've been just speaking to some doctors and I think that maybe it might be best to get the surgery in England.
Yeah.
You know, just like if you have anything wrong and things like that. And me and Seb were like, no, it's fine. We'll just do it here and carry on. And he was like, no, you're not doing that. You're coming home. So eventually we came home. And then I had my surgery really soon after that.
Yeah.
And
was that for your head? Or for
no,
your wrist?
just my wrist. There was I had a really bad concussion for about a month. And as I was saying, I wasn't able to like do any comprehension. I remember trying to like figure out the insurance stuff, all of this.
Yeah.
And I looked at the insurance like details and I can't even read this.
I'm like that right now.
Yeah.
With any document,
I still can't figure it out.
I'm creative.
So it took about a month to get that sorted, basically. And then...
Were you like cooking? You were like, did I already put salt?
What did I do in this? I don't know. And then I was, I guess, back to full health, back to using my wrist, I guess, 2 months after.
God, to be young.
Yeah,
hey, great.
Really good. So I had a month at home, and then because I still had that planned time taken off, we went to Thailand.
Nice.
We got like really cheap last minute tickets. And thankfully it was actually really great because I couldn't do anything. So I couldn't even pack my bags. So Seb had to pack my bags for me every morning.
Did
and
you
every
pack
evening.
this bag yourself? No, I can't.
No, I did not.
I don't know
I'd be
what
like,
I've done
Seb,
today.
can you get me my shorts? No, not those. Those are the ones.
It's been 3 months now. He's like, I'm kind of thinking you're all right now.
No, I can't. Can you get my other socks? Really great for me. I wouldn't really recommend it for him, but it was great.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, you look fine. You look great. You've been back to work.
Back to work.
Glad. Just be careful out there, guys.
Yeah.
God, you're like a mum's worst nightmare
for
every little boy and girl going traveling.
We didn't tell my mum.
Jumping, yeah. Oh my God, did you not?
My mum didn't know the full story until, I guess, like everybody found out.
Yeah.
Until I posted
on Instagram.
She saw the photos and she was like, excuse me. What? Because we kind of said we just
Sometimes you got to spare them.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we just had a little slip. It wasn't like, oh, I just fell like, tripped up, hit my head, that kind of thing. Because we don't want to like scare her.
Yeah, no more travel ever again. Oh shit. Well, yeah. I mean, like, I was glad because I remember like I was going to reach out to you a few months ago for this, and I was like, it's not a good time. I don't think. I just want to check that she's like all right. And I saw you were doing television, promoting things. I was like, she's fine. She's good to go. So yeah, as I said, I really want to speak to someone in the whole like media food space, and I just want to unpack it all. It's such an interesting, busy, crowded, prevalent part of social media at the moment. But before I do, like, how did your whole relationship with food start? Like, what started your journey as a chef? Like, how young did you get the bug for it?
I guess I started cooking when I was really young, like 10 or 12. It was actually because I was quite sick as a child. I actually had cancer when I was like 12 or 13. And when I was really sick, all I would do is watch daytime TV, and daytime TV is just kind of like Food Network. So
that.
I'd watch that day in, day out. And because my mum and everyone kind of felt a bit sorry for me, obviously, they kind of just let me do whatever I want in the kitchen. So I was able to cook as much as I wanted. I baked loads. My mum got me all my pots and pans from like the car boot sale. And I was just baking cookies and cakes and things like that. And that just kind of got me just really, really obsessed.
That's awesome. I love that, like, when you were sick at home, you watched Food Network. I was, like, watching Jeremy Kyle and Big Brother.
I probably did watch those as well. I probably alternated between the two. I was just home for, like, a year, so I was watching everything.
And I know your mum's, like, a huge inspiration for your cooking, and you dedicated your book to her.
Exactly.
So she must be a titan in the kitchen as well.
Yeah, she is. We always had home-cooked food every single meal. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. We never really had oven food, microwave meals. Never had takeaways. We never even went out to eat to restaurants. I think I went for my first like proper restaurant meal when I was like 16, 17.
Wow, okay. That's really interesting.
Because we didn't really
just
go
wasn't
out.
part of the culture.
No, it wasn't part of it. So I was always just like having freshly cooked meals was always a thing. Even at uni, every meal I would cook. And all my friends would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'd be like, here's the oven pizza. I'd be like, no.
Have a Rustler's
burger.
Oven mac and cheese. No, like other people are the weird ones for like not making food.
And she kind of instilled this like how important food is. And her cooking was absolutely amazing. She makes the most incredible Indian food. And it just got me really excited about food all the time. Yeah,
totally. I think like anyone who's grown up with good food, like it becomes strange to not want to have good food in your life. It would be like insane to not want to have that around. And like bringing family together, it's like a piece of your family, like totally. And was the idea of being a chef, a presenter, did any of that come into your mind as you were like a teenager? Or where did that idea of what you do, when was the idea of what you do now coming into your mind?
So it actually was when I was younger, mainly through Bon Appetit.
Right,
obviously the insanely popular YouTube channel. I was obsessed with it, watched it every single day. It was just such a cult. Like it was such good YouTube and I still miss it to this day. But that's kind of where I was like, wow, I'd really love to do that. But I didn't really think it was possible, didn't really know how to do it. Everyone that I saw online, they had like years of like restaurant experience and stuff like that. So instead I went to uni and studied neuroscience.
Right, okay.
Because I was like...
Sensible.
I was like, that doesn't really make sense. I guess I can do that later if I want to and blah, blah, blah. So I went to study neuroscience at uni.
Also, like, not a chill degree. You didn't do something like astrology.
I actually I was thinking about like a few different degrees. I was like, this one sounds quite cool. And that's kind of why I did it.
Nice.
Sounds cool. It's also really, really interesting. But I knew quite early on to the degree, I didn't want to like work in a lab. I didn't want to be like in a little basement with pipettes and stuff. So after I graduated, I gave myself a year to try and do cooking. My brother's quite a regimented man and he was like, what's your plan? How are you going to do this? And I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself a year. I'm going to try for a year to work in restaurants and do cooking. And if I hate it, I can go back and get
classic.
a grad
It's
scheme.
like the stand-up, the actors, all of it, food content, love it. I'm going to move to LA. Why? You're good,
So then I started working at restaurants. I had no prior experience working in restaurants, but when you want to work at a restaurant, you usually get a trial shift.
Yes.
So I used trial shifts as my work experience.
Nice.
So I basically got like 5 trial shifts lined up, and my last trial shift was the job that I really wanted. So I'd have the other trial shifts as work experience in restaurants.
Which is really smart to do.
Yeah.
Just not like know what the hell they're going to ask you to do.
So now I've kind of I know my way around a kitchen a little bit. I kind of know how things work. And then, so the last one was for Gordon Ramsay's Lucky Cat.
Yes.
And then I got the job the same day.
That's amazing.
And that was the week that I graduated. So I graduated on Monday.
You're the worst.
And I was like, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday was a Lucky Cat one. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was all the other ones.
You're like the actor who books like a huge film like the day after they finish acting school. Yeah. It's like, fucking hell. Just on trial shifts, when you turn up, you've got no experience.
No experience.
And you're like basically just begging for a chance to be in the kitchen.
Basically.
What do they get you to do? Is it like knife skills and prepping? Like what are they
I
looking
guess
for?
they get you to start prepping stuff. I didn't even have like, you're meant to have your own knife. You're meant to have like whites and stuff. I didn't have any of that. I was like asking chefs to borrow their knives and things like that. I didn't have anything. The most important thing you need is just you need to seem really, really keen. Like the most keen you could possibly be. That's how keen you need to be. You need to be like, yes, I'll do anything. I'll lick the floor clean if you want me to. Like literally that's how excited you need to be, and then you'll probably get.
Because they're not really looking. You don't have experience. They
No,
just need
no.
to know that you have like a capacity to learn.
Exactly,
It's the same in
exactly.
like with running and television.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have experience. You
No.
can bullshit on a CV
Yeah,
as
yeah,
much as you like, but you
exactly.
just have to basically be a nice person who
Yeah.
looks like you can learn.
More than a nice person, just be willing to do like anything at any time.
Yes,
you
yeah.
know, that's what they kind of want.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then so your one at Lucky Cat. What were they getting you to do? Wait, sorry. Did you just like knock on the door? Did you like call ahead? Like, how did you get that?
So
trial ship?
they had a opening for a commis chef.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So they had an opening.
Fine,
I think
yeah.
that's when they just opened. There was like a couple months after opening.
Wow,
So they had openings up.
And then you come in. They're like, here's a trial. The kitchen's all like everyone's already doing their
Everyone's
thing.
already doing their
Did
thing.
you say hi to the head chef?
Yeah, I
And they're like,
said to the chef. And I don't really remember what I was doing. I guess I was like chopping some stuff. They would give you recipes, and they'd be like, okay, follow this, or like this person will teach you how to do this and things like
Yeah.
that. So like chopping vegetables certain ways, making dishes to their criteria and ingredients and stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then where did that take you into Mob Kitchen after that?
So I worked there for, I guess, about 2.5 years.
Did you stay as a commis chef or did you progress?
No, I worked up to chef de partie,
Chef de partie,
which is, I think, just the 1 or 2 above.
That was me. I
Yeah.
think it's like, you're in the ranks.
Yeah,
You've got
yeah.
your own station.
Chef de partie is like the middle. That's kind of
Yeah.
like the basic one that everyone is.
You're a
kind
chef.
of. Yeah.
Chef of the party.
Chef of the
Yeah.
party.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it means.
And
still.
that's like you're in charge of your own station essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got like, was it set with like you have your own dishes or you would take care of sauce or something?
Yeah, you're in charge of the whole station by yourself, basically.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you have enough of all the ingredients. You have to make sure you have enough of all the sauces made, all the
Yes.
vegetables, everything prepared. If you're working in the evening and you're working 2 service, you're the one who's going to be making every single dish, basically. Sometimes you'd have 2 people on the station. Sometimes you'd have 1, depends on the station. And I was there for long enough to kind of do every station.
Yeah.
So I did, apart from Robata, which is like the grill, which only like the big men do.
Oh, yeah, like on the thing, yeah, of
Yeah, I
course.
wasn't allowed to do that. I think I did like a prawn once and they like shouted at me and I cried, so I didn't do it again.
And then I think like the kitchens, chefs, it has a really bad reputation for like behavior, attitudes. Well, is it crazy in a kitchen like that? Do people go mental?
It's hard, and I think like any kitchen, I think is just really, really, the pressure's really high. People are shouting. I'm very sensitive in the sense that if anybody shouts at me even a little bit, I'll cry. Immediately.
Good to know. I was going to fucking crucify you later.
Don't shout at me. It's also like, why are you shouting?
Yeah,
Do you know
it's
what I
crazy.
mean?
I worked as a waiter, granted not a chef, in a
Yeah.
restaurant that was like, it was silver service and everything. And I remember like, I really pissed off a head chef and he screamed at me in my face, like 2 inches from my face. And obviously it's like, in most other workplaces, that would be like a horrendous breach of like whatever you want to call it. Like it's a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in that environment, it's so normal.
Yeah.
And like nobody really had anything to say about it.
Why
It's
is
like
it
chef is just
normal?
like that.
No.
I do think like the younger gen who are like in those environments, like running their own restaurants, I do think there is a concerted effort to not inherit
I think
those
so
bad
as well.
things.
Yeah.
Especially like from my experience of speaking to chefs or like filming in kitchens.
Yeah.
And you see, I think you get quite a good sense of like the culture. Maybe they're lying because there's cameras there.
I do think it's getting better, and I'm actually thinking about doing some like stages or working in restaurants again
Oh, yeah.
to kind of get a better feel for it and how
Yeah.
it can be. Because I think it depends on the restaurant, but yeah, it was hard and it was scary, and I just don't like shouting. I just
No.
don't want anyone to raise their voice ever.
And for some people, you don't get the best out of them when you scream in their
no,
face.
I don't think
you get
anybody
frazzled.
does.
No, right?
I don't think anybody in the world gets the best out of anyone shouting at someone.
Yeah, but I think it's always a sign of weakness, really,
Yeah.
if you have to shout. Like some of the
Yeah.
most people who I respect the most in leadership, like they never raise their voice.
They never
have a
raise
very
their
measured
voice.
tone.
Exactly.
Did you have any really bad experiences?
Not in particular, but I think it was just not for me. The hours are really long.
Yes,
I
yeah.
started at like
No Fridays and Saturday nights, I bet.
no, not ever. I lived in Slough, so I would take a little moped into work.
So cute.
I did
Chef White's billowing in
yeah,
the wind. Yeah.
no, literally,
Literally.
literally. And I'd be like literally crying in my mask, like on the way to work. And I'd get to work.
No
and
one
I'd
can
go,
see my tears
No
in
one
the
can see
mask.
them, and they'll be like through the wind.
Oh my God. What, just from like tiredness and
just
stress?
being tired and
Yeah.
stressed, and then get to work like 16-hour shifts and come back home at like 1 or 2 a.m. Do it again for like
Crazy.
the next day, 5 days in a row. It was just tiring. I'm just not built for that.
Yeah, it's long.
Yeah.
And just, like I said, like you don't get your weekends. You're really at the mercy of their schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard work on your feet all the time.
Exactly. Restaurant work is just really, really, really hard.
Yeah, and you're in this like fluorescent kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it looks like a lot. I've
Yeah.
done it.
It's
looks
hard. It's hard.
And then so what is that why you left? Is that why you decided to leave?
So I started looking at different jobs, and Mob Kitchen put out an application for like on-screen chef. And I actually had another accident. I actually have a lot of my accidents in January.
Are you like really accident prone?
Do you know what?
It's astrology.
I think it's been about every 3 years I have some sort of accident.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Decent incident, like 0. God, I might message you in like 2 years. Just be like, just FYI, it's coming.
It's coming. Be careful.
And you were sick as a kid.
Yeah.
Not that it's an accident prone thing,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, oh my God. That's like a Final Destination movie.
They just keep trying to get me. So it was on my way to work. I was really tired. I was on a moped, and I basically hit the guy in front of me and like flew back, and my bike kind of fell on top of me.
Oh my God.
And I broke my elbow.
Is this late at night?
Early in the morning on the way to work. And I remember so vividly, I was in the ambulance and I took a selfie with the ambulance drivers, and I was smiling, and I sent it to the restaurant chat, and I was like, suckers, I'm not coming in.
Fuck you guys.
And I remember being just so relieved. And then after that, I was like, oh, okay.
I'm
maybe-
not well.
This isn't right.
I can't come into work because I'm really horrendously injured.
Maybe I should look for other jobs.
Yeah.
And that same week, Mob Kitchen had the application for on-screen chef.
You're so annoyingly lucky with like things ending and coming on to the next thing.
It's really lucky and also really unlucky at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Most people would say like, like success is hard work meets luck and preparation. Yours just like terrible injury, right? Post it, and then just something will come up. Something will come up. Yeah. In 3 years after your next accident, you're like the Prime Minister.
The better the outcome is what I've learned. So I sent in an application, and in my application video, my arm is in a sling.
Love it.
And I'm literally like in a sling on my bike. And I'm like,
get their attention.
I'm like, look at me, I can do anything. I think they probably just thought it was so ridiculous and so funny.
This poor girl. Let's give her a
They're
job.
like, give this girl a break. That I got the job. I shouldn't get the job then. I think they hired someone else,
Right.
annoyingly. And then, I know,
Yeah.
and then they...
Where are they now?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I actually don't know.
Well, cool.
And then they hired me in November when I actually got fired from somewhere else in between.
Right. Right. And I really remember, I know obviously food content, food telly, it's always been really big, but I remember Mob Kitchen really popularizing this like top-down style, really shareable, edited really well, food like you'd actually want to eat. And I remember watching it going like, this is done so well, they've captured something here. And I feel like in a lot of ways, almost all the food content creators, even if they don't realize it, especially in the UK, really owe something to that Mob Kitchen style.
100%, yeah.
And I think if they don't realize it, because everyone's kind of adopted that version of it. And even in like the commercial client briefs I get from really big like supermarkets and like BBC Food I was saying before, a lot of them are asking still for this style, and it's become like the template from which influencer cooking has come
100%.
from. So I don't think people actually give them their flowers enough.
Yeah, they
really
are like the OG like food influencers.
Yeah.
It's like when you think about like BuzzFeed Tasty and like Mob, and they're and Bon Appetit, I guess, if you're not looking at the UK, they were like the biggest food platforms and creating really good, like fun, delicious food, not just like weird food.
And also knowing that like young people, students, young adults are on social media, budget friendly, easy to make, delicious, not pretentious food.
Yeah.
I was like, So, and then how did you find that experience? Like, did you really enjoy
I
it?
loved it. It was...
What year was that, sorry, when you joined?
So it was 29... No, I have no idea.
Because they would have been sort of fairly small, like when you were the starter. It can't have been a huge operation.
Oh, no, it was 2020.
Oh, 2020, right.
Yeah,
That's when you started.
because it's when COVID. I got my accident.
Right.
I had my accident, and then March was COVID.
Yeah.
And then November, I got the job. So November
Right, okay.
2020.
When sort of, okay, so like stuff was opening, but also massively, it got really
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
Then.
Yeah. And it was wonderful. It was like 6 or 7 of us.
Nice.
We would just come into the office.
That's a really nice size.
We would
as well.
film. It was really nice size. Everyone was so lovely. I live with one of the girls now
Oh,
from
nice.
then.
Oh, right.
And
Cool.
she's like one of my best friends.
Oh, that's really cool. Who is it?
Sophie KT.
Oh, I don't know.
Not
That's
the,
fine.
not the other Sophie. the other
Right,
Sophie.
okay,
I'm still
cool.
friends with the other Sophie
Nice,
as well.
yeah.
And I'm still really close to all of them. It's
That's
amazing.
really nice.
It was literally like you came in to hang out with your friends all day.
Yeah.
Because we were doing top down, we were kind of filming 1 or 2 videos a day.
Nice,
and you would
yeah.
only be able to film 1 at a time.
Yeah.
So one person would be filming, your face wasn't in it, so you'd be chatting, you'd be
Yeah.
playing music.
That's really
It was
nice.
just like so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was like in Ben Leibus's like old flat.
Yeah.
And you would just be like chilling and chatting and cooking, and it was just so
It's really nice.
fantastic.
And they're still like smashing it. They've released
Yeah,
books,
they're
they've
still
got their
doing like loads of food
subscription,
videos. The food videos now are like top tier. They're like
Yeah.
absolutely insane. I think they just put out an app,
Nice.
which is really good. I actually use it all the
All
time.
these free ads for
Yeah.
Mob. They should be paying us.
Yeah, they should.
And yeah, so like obviously, you know, obviously loving food is one thing, and learning to cook in a kitchen is one
Yeah.
thing, but speaking on camera and being like a sort of food presenter is a
Yeah.
completely another thing. Like, how did you find yourself taking quite well to that when it came to it, or like were you really scared to post your first videos? Was it awkward when you were on camera at
Do you know what? I was posting a few videos here and there on my Instagram before Mob.
Nice.
Nothing too dramatic, nothing like edited or anything like that. But I think my friends are really, really supportive.
Yeah.
I remember I used to do like Instagram. What was it when you like live? It was Instagram live. I used to,
wow, nice.
And all my friends used to go. Like every single one of my friends used to watch me.
Oh,
And they used to like
that's so
open
nice.
up their brothers and sisters' phones, so that I would get
Get
more
the
views on it.
numbers, yeah.
And it'd be like 15 views.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
like loads of views or
Hey, it's
anything.
live,
yeah.
baby, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was just they were just always so supportive. So I never really felt that like sort of like cringiness from it.
Yeah.
And then by the time I was at Mob, it was kind of cool too. So
Yeah.
I didn't really feel that either. But I definitely really struggled like talking to camera and like feeling natural. But even now I still like
Yeah, you're doing terribly.
it's quite stressful.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
sometimes you still just get quite nervous and you forget how
sure.
to talk and you need to like get better. I did a podcast for a little bit and that really, really helped, like how to
Oh my
speak
God,
to
yeah.
camera and how to actually speak. And my like speaking and reading like got a lot better because like
Yeah.
when you just read off a page to make it sound normal, it's quite hard.
Oh my God, reading
You know,
loud.
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
hard. It
Really-
sounds weird to
exactly.
say, but it's actually really
really
tough.
hard.
Yeah.
And to make it seem like natural and like chatty is really
Yeah.
hard. You can't
Yes.
just like speak it. You have to like kind of like
Understand
play it.
what you're
Yeah,
saying and
exactly.
engage with it. Yeah.
So that made it a lot easier. And even everyone at Mob, they're so supportive.
Yeah.
One of the head of content was Jake. And he was just so funny and so silly. And we would just do really silly content for Mob, which kind of made it all a lot easier. And because it was all just like fun and silly, it never felt so serious and like scary.
And it just makes for nicer content as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That thing you said before about like, oh, I at first was worried I'd be like embarrassed, but I feel like now it's so much less embarrassing to do social media than it would have been in 2012.
Absolutely,
Like the
yeah.
first like wave of YouTubers
Yeah,
that were doing it, it must have been so
100%.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Whereas now, sadly, I feel like most kids in schools want to basically want to do social media. None of them. I get
exactly.
quite worried about it. I'm like, we
Yeah.
can't all make content.
No,
and I know I'm not helping by literally sitting here making content. But I'm like, someone has to like be the engineer, be the doctor to save your life when you go down.
We need real jobs.
We need real jobs. We can't all just make videos. It's going to be like Wall-E where we're just in our pods.
Yeah.
And it's really
I think
concerning.
about that a lot, actually. It's quite scary.
But it's cool now to be like to try, I think,
Yeah,
which
it
is
is,
really nice.
it
It's
is.
cool to like put yourself out on social media,
Yeah.
especially when it does. My experience at least was like, I was so embarrassed to put my first stuff out. But then once I'd done 3, I was like, oh, this is just what I do now.
fine,
And then when it
yeah.
actually came down to it, all my friends and family
Nobody
were just like
cares.
genuinely really happy that something had gone well.
Nobody nowadays, like, nobody really cares unless you're like an actual bully.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like,
or you're like a horrible person.
Yeah, unless you're like
yeah.
actually a horrible person, it's fine. And then that way you'll find out who the horrible people are straight away.
Yes,
If anyone's
yeah.
being like rude about it, it's like it's almost weird to be rude about it.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
mean like why are you being so lame?
We're more wise and like that's clearly like your thing,
Yeah,
your insecurity you have about
exactly.
someone like doing something
Yeah.
quite well. But yeah, it is tough to like put yourself out
It is
there
really,
and
really,
to
really
start
tough.
when you have no followers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people I think that's the biggest like boundary is like people
Yeah.
are scared like, oh, what are my friends gonna think? What are they gonna
Yeah.
think? Well, it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, and you're gonna have to get through that to do anything.
When we started Pop Kitchen, which is the film podcast I do, it was like I really didn't want to have a thing where I did like 4 episodes of my podcast and then gave up, because I think that's so embarrassing to be like, hey everyone, like big launch, Instagram post story, doing a podcast now, and if I like couldn't do it for, it's like stats like 98% of podcasts don't do like more than like 5 episodes. Like I was like, I must do at least like I don't know how many.
10
I was
or
like,
something.
got to like push through, and then I was like, after I'd done a few, I was like, I back myself. I do this now,
and also you enjoy it more.
Love
and
it,
then you
yeah.
actually like start to like invest more time into it, really like what you're doing, and that just makes the whole process a lot better.
Yeah. And so I also want to ask you, you're now, I think, like around 2 million followers across TikTok and Instagram. You've got...
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
I think so, yeah. I did some follower mass this morning. And what was it like when you hit 1 million followers on your TikTok?
On my TikTok,
What's that feeling like? Is it kind of crazy?
It was really crazy. But do you know what? I still think now I can't really comprehend it. I don't really get it.
Yeah.
Like it feels like even on like when I get views and stuff, 600k views feels like 6 views.
I don't think we can understand.
I don't really get it. I'm like,
No.
oh, like 6 people saw it. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like 1 million people saw it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really like, it doesn't really compute.
Yeah.
So when people are like, how does it feel? I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Someone said the other day, I was like, oh, it's like got 60k views. My mate was like, that's like the Emirates Stadium. That's like an entire thing. And I was like, yeah, but it does the thing. But it's just numbers and numbers.
But
they don't feel
also,
real.
when you think about it, not to like downplay anyone's views, but like you watch like 1 million videos a day.
Oh my God, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Everyone's watching them.
everyone's watching so much stuff a day. It's obviously it's a great feat,
Yes.
but it's also either way, it's not something to like get too stressed out about. And that's something I'm really trying to is like not getting so caught up on the numbers either way, because it's great to be like, oh my God, this got 1 million views, but then that's gonna make when you get 10 views really hard.
Oh my God,
exactly.
yeah.
So you need to kind of make both of them invaluable almost.
Yeah.
The most valuable thing needs to be your content is what you like rather than the views.
Totally. Like I have peers who done like amazing numbers on, it's usually TikTok where the most variability is. Like they get a really great run and it's like all of a sudden the algorithm just wants nothing to do with them. And they might have a huge following now, but it's like something about what they've been doing.
Exactly.
And it drives you mad. You're like thinking about like, oh, should I change what I do? It's less authentic.
It does.
I've no advice. I don't know if you do, like for how people get through that.
It's exactly that. And I go through it all the time.
Yeah.
And now, especially my partner also does social media as well. So we always go through this cycle of like, everything's doing shit. I want to give up. I hate everything. And then it's like, no, a video did great. They like me again. Thank God. And then it's like, no, they're doing shit again. And then after, because I've been doing this now for like what, 3-4 years.
Yeah.
After you do that for like a couple years, like every week or so, it's kind of like, I actually can't do this anymore. No. I can't have this highs and lows anymore. You just kind of need to make everything. You don't care if the views are high. You don't care if the views are low.
Yeah.
All that needs to be your top priority is this content something you're really proud of and that you genuinely think is good. And I think a lot of people, they don't subjectively look at their own content, because sometimes when you watch content, you're like, oh, that was a really good piece of content. Yeah. But when it's your own, you kind of forget to...
It's hard to see the forest for the trees.
You need to kind of see yourself as a third person and objectively look at it. Because sometimes I'll make something and I look back at it a week later and be like, oh, that was actually not good. That was rubbish. Like, what was I thinking? Yeah. But in the moment, because I was just like, I don't know, excited or whatever, I was like, oh, it's going to be great. And then when I look back and I was like, oh, I could have actually done that way better.
I've always found with like video, it's sometimes good to just go take a walk, go and have a cup of tea and a coffee, and then you come back to it. Something in the human brain just goes, oh, that there.
Yeah. Immediately.
Same with like a night's sleep, I think. Like the problem solving happens.
100%.
But creatively, I think so too.
Yeah. It makes a huge difference because you just get caught up in it and you're like in this little like bubble of your own video and you're like, this will do this and this is this. And you just need to take a step back and be like, wait, actually, I can't even read those captions. Yeah. That caption is blocking all the text. I can't even read it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
This is bad.
You forget.
Does it worry you slightly, like on algorithms? Because I feel like the algorithms are changing constantly. There's very bad communication about it.
Yeah.
Trump's going to do what Trump's going to do. Tariffs, like who knows what like app gets banned, what gets stayed. Does that concern you in this way that like it all just could go out the window? You could lose favor. Your livelihood is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, completely all the time. I think that's why it's important if you're doing it for time is to diversify.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I just started a Substack. So there's
Nice.
something else I can do that still can maybe generate income or captivate an audience in a different way that could be more reliable. But yeah, it's terrifying. I don't know what to do about that, to be honest.
Diversify, do different things.
Just like, ignore it.
Ignore it.
Ignore it.
It's
Sometimes
a problem.
when I feel like people doing it, I just feel like I'm doing like this. La la la.
Yeah. It's getting banned. Okay. I got my Instagram.
Look at it.
And how long did it take you to get 1 million followers?
So it was when TikTok was fairly new. So I think it took me about a year and a half.
That's really good.
It was really, really quick because I did a series which I was really passionate about. I was putting loads of effort into it before people were putting effort into TikToks.
Yeah.
So at that point, everyone was just kind of like doing like dances and things like that. And I, just for fun, was like, I was already doing it for mobs, so I knew how to make content and how to put effort into it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can put that same effort into a series idea that I really know and love, which was making every country's national dish. And I would do loads of research on the dish. I'd make sure to get all the right ingredients. I would find someone from the country to teach me how to make it. There was like so much work. I made a Google sheet where about like 50,000 people put in what they thought their country's national dish was.
Nice.
I've
seen some of these.
It wasn't just like, oh, the national dish of India is this. It was like, no, this is what people have voted for from the country. Because Google lies all the time.
Oh my God, Google lies.
All the time.
Google became a liar.
Yeah, Google became a liar.
Google just started going,
I can't trust.
maybe it's this.
I'm getting Google's.
We get onto this.
There's a downfall of Google.
I think we'll get back to your question. I think it's mad that that Google didn't do what ChatGPT has been doing for the last few years. Like they had search, they owned the internet. Yeah. They had questions and answers.
They've owned the internet.
Literally, they are the
let
internet.
It go.
And now I feel like the new Google is prompting a text-based AI. I just feel like they've totally
and
fucked
Google's
up.
getting shitter. Yeah. Like it's getting like there's sometimes when I use Safari and if I'm not using Google, it will like create me in this loop of Google Loop where you have to get the app, which I don't want. Google Maps is falling apart. It keeps trying to get me to bike along the canal where people get pushed in all the time.
Literally.
And there's no other route.
And also like the ads that are really intrusive. There's like 4 ads before I get to an actual website. And like I asked ChatGPT the same question. It's like, hey, thanks for asking. Here's numbers, here's lists, here's options. Do you want me to? And I'll just be like, oh, just tweak that. And it's like, of course, that's what you meant. Here's like the right thing. And I'm like, damn.
And Google's like, I'm going on like page number 8. I still don't get an answer.
You make it to page 8 of Google.
Google Images? I don't even know. It's
sort it out, Google.
It's terrifying.
Anyway, back to food stuff. But yeah, just on like a year and a half, 2 years, like so many people I've spoken to in like the film TV space, like a lot of them are the people who panicked through COVID, rightly so, just picked up their phone, started making content. And it only took them like a year and a half, 2 years, where this is now their full-time career. And sometimes I tell people, I'm like, the turnaround time on making a hobby or a passion your career, that's not a long time.
It's not a long time. And I think it's similar, but I think now it's harder because
it's getting more crowded, sure.
It's because it's same as YouTube. The first couple years of YouTube, all the first YouTubers were able to grow quite quickly.
Because they were the only ones doing it.
Because the only ones doing it. Same with TikTok. And same with Instagram as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's all when there's a new platform to get in there at the right time. And that's just what it was for TikTok.
For sure. And I've always told people like, in so many other aspects of your career, it could take you like 5 to 10 years to make that pivot. Like whether or not you're trying to move job and reskill.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, it's not that, I don't want to say it's not that hard. It is an enormous amount of hard work. But I feel like once you've done that hard work, the actual time window to converting that into a career or to like getting your first real life monetary value, I'm like, it's quite short.
100%, yeah. And it's something that you can actually really enjoy, which I think which makes it like so much easier as well.
Yeah. And speaking of like the place now being very saturated and crowded, food scene especially, there are so many people doing it. And like when we get these commercial briefs and we look at like who would be good for something, there are genuinely so many options. Yeah. How in this landscape would you say is a good way for you to stand out?
I think you need to find, first of all, what sort of content do you actually want to create? I think that's quite important. What sort of feeling do you want to emote? How do you want your audience to feel? what are you specifically really passionate about? Like,
Yeah.
actually, not what's going to do well. What do you like? It's figuring out what your specific niche is and building on that as much
Yeah.
as you can, and really showing yourself in your videos and your content. I think having people that actually trust you and like you and actually like care about the things that you're doing is really important nowadays.
Yeah.
Because nowadays anyone can make a good video. Do you know what I mean? But not everybody can be like, oh, they did this. That's actually really fun because I know that I'll like it because I trust this person.
Yeah.
You know, that trust is what's harder to get.
Authenticity.
Yeah,
really,
the
isn't it?
authenticity,
Yeah.
exactly. And I feel like that's what's gonna set people apart a little bit more.
Yeah, there was a really interesting thing you did in a video recently where you were cooking a dish and like right behind you were 3 different samples of yellow paint on your wall. And it was just midway through the dish and kind of like a manic ADHD thing. You're like, oh, by the way, like which yellow do you like? I'm thinking this one, not this one. And I was like, that is so smart because you're picking up on what somebody has seen in your video and now you've increased engagement by getting people to go like, oh, did that yellow or like the second one. I was like, that's such a weird random thing that I don't think anyone else know to do. And I thought that's genius because now people are engaging in it. I think it also teaches your audience a little bit more about you. Like, oh, Seema's choosing a paint. I feel so attached to her life and everything that's going on. I was like,
and it's also like, okay, now there's some homework content and there's like, oh, she's doing a flat. I wonder, think that's it and the other.
Yeah.
I used to like sometimes do like polls on my Instagram, be like, oh, what color should I do this?
Yeah.
And then if I didn't really care.
People
like,
love polls.
People like this color, okay, well,
Yeah.
let's just do it.
So good. And so, yeah, like, are there like do's and don'ts for creating food content in 2025 right now, like from your perspective?
Oh, do's and don'ts.
These could be like simple things like ways of filming or like style of recipe.
I think, to be honest, as long as you've got like a clean camera,
Yeah.
the main thing, because people forget. Even every single time I take a photo, I will clean the camera.
Wipe your lens.
You have to wipe the lens.
Wipe your lens, you
even
dirty,
if it
people.
looks clean, it's not clean. It's not clean. Yeah,
Give it a
just
little-
wipe it every single time.
Invest in a good microfiber cloth. They are £2.
No, just use your t-shirt.
Or your t-shirt.
Just use your t-shirt. No one's carrying around a microfiber cloth.
Yeah. And then do you like to do you film near a big window? Like, is
Yeah.
there ways you like to shoot your food?
So I like using natural light,
Yeah.
but where I've just moved, I only get light from 8 a.m. till like 11.
Yeah.
So I've just bought a big light, not like this, but like a big
yeah.
light that I kind of put outside in the garden
Yeah.
that kind of faces inwards. But also find what works for you. As long as the light is bright, it can be artificial light, it can be natural light, but whatever light is bright, that you can see crisp videos in it.
Totally. A big window is always the best.
Big
All
window is the
like
best.
this is trying to recreate a big,
Yeah,
big
exactly.
window at the end
yeah,
of the day.
yeah,
It's
but
always
big window
the way
is
to
the
do it.
best. And I think it's just creating original content, I think, is important. Like, I don't need to see another tomato pasta. I don't need to see another tomato pasta, another cheese toasty. Like, when you're making content, be intentional about it. Like,
Yes.
actually think about, oh no, I'm just gonna pump this out. Like, what do you? Because now there's too many people. You can't just like do a tomato pasta and hope for the best. You have to really think about what sort of video you want to do and what sort of content you want to do. You can't.
Or like adding your personality
Exactly,
to it. If
adding
you're going to do tomato
adding
pasta,
something
tell a
interesting.
story.
Exactly,
Yeah, for sure.
exactly. There has to be something to it nowadays because there's too much out there.
Yeah. And then I saw have you done Saturday Kitchen twice now?
Yeah,
So I
twice,
worked
yeah.
on that show on and off for like, was it like 4 years or
Really?
something?
How was
so
it?
I had my first ever running gig from Cactus TV, who
No
produced Saturday Kitchen,
way.
originally on the ITV show, and then they
Yeah.
obviously made Saturday Kitchen. They were like, look, you can do Saturdays. Do you want to work? I was like, yes, I want to work.
Yeah.
Ended up doing loads of Saturday Kitchen. Then my mates who worked on it for years, who I were runners with, they became like researchers, APs, and producers as like we all
Wow.
progressed, and they
Yeah.
stayed there for a really long time. My mate James is like now the series
Oh yeah,
producer on
James.
it.
Yeah, he's the one who gets me on.
Oh right, yeah, he's amazing. Like I worked with James for years, and
Yeah.
then Scott. I don't know if you know Scott. He used to work on it.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
And like I loved it, and
Yeah.
working in television was like the perfect job for me out of uni, where I wasn't like sat down at a desk,
Yeah,
and I was like very, very intimately working on that show. And so, what was it like? To come from online social media, was it quite a big thing to be like, I've been asked to go on a TV show, like a linear television program?
Yeah, it was really, really exciting. Thankfully, I think also when I was with Mob, we were doing stuff with big cameras.
Yes.
So I've worked with big cameras.
They're massive in there as well.
Yeah, they're
Huge studio cameras.
Huge
Yeah.
studio cameras. But I've been exposed to huge studio cameras quite a few times
Yeah.
in like different shoots and things like that. So it wasn't like I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Also, I've been speaking to my phone every day.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
again, speaking was quite like not as terrifying as I thought. But it's the production value in it, the amount that is prepared beforehand.
Did you do the Friday beforehand?
I did the Friday, I did the Saturday in the morning.
And people don't know they do the entire show beforehand.
Yeah, twice.
You rehearse the conversation. So I used to be the researcher on the table who would pretend to be the guest in the rehearsal. So it would be like, Russell Howard is on. I'd have a sticker with Russell Howard on my thing, and then I'd have to answer the questions as Russell Howard, which is very fun.
It's really fun, and I think the main thing is, and I don't know what other shows like because I haven't really been on them, is how safe they make you feel.
Yeah,
they really make sure that you feel comfortable, that you're like happy to talk about this, that like you feel like the recipe is going how you want it. Especially that's really important because like the recipe is my baby.
It's like you're bringing your food to a television audience.
Exactly,
you want it to be good,
and I'll oftentimes I can imagine they'll be like, oh, just make it and it's fine. Whereas like they'll be like, are the tomatoes the right ones? Is the bread the right one? Is this how you want? Is that how you want? There's so much attention to detail that makes you really safe. And I think that plus the 2 rehearsals that you get make the whole process just really fun.
Yeah.
And you don't think about how scary it is and that there's like a million people watching.
Yeah.
You just kind of think about, I'm just having a great time.
Was there a moment like as you actually went live in your brain, you're like, oh my fucking God, I'm not
I
going to
think I think that bit of my brain is same with like how many followers are. It just doesn't connect.
Doesn't
connect.
Which is a good thing to think.
Don't really get it.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like too far it's like too far in my like reality to understand it, so I just don't.
Yeah. And working with Matt's quite nice on the day. He's very
so
relaxed,
lovely.
isn't he? Yeah.
And he's also really good at cooking.
Yeah.
So like oftentimes if you pay attention, the guest doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
They're kind of just like pretending, and like Matt is actually running around doing everything, also holding the conversation. And I'm just kind of there going like da 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 da.
Yeah.
And he's just making 3 dishes that are my dishes immediately in front of me. It's fantastic.
That's really cool. So would you like to do more live TV?
100%. I think especially like that where it's so fun. The crew is so, everybody is so nice.
Yeah.
Again, no shouting. Everybody's just really, like I feel like being in an environment everyone's really nice is just actually all I want.
Yeah, and it is inherently, it's morning TV. Like it should be fairly like light and airy and fairly fun. But yeah, that's really great. I do love that show. Like I have such like a fond place in my heart for it because it was like one of my starts, and like I still know people who work on it today. Which is just really
and also when you watch it, you can tell that they're having fun and they're like actually enjoying it, and it's not so like serious.
Yeah. For sure, because like food can be very intimidating, pretentious a little bit.
Exactly, yeah.
And so I want to ask you about your book, Craveable, which we released in November. Congratulations.
Thank you so
much. We were
much.
talking about like success on social media and like 1 million followers, which it's hard to think about, but that's like something you can't hold. It's intangible, it's digital. A book is something that's so physical, you can hold it. What's it like to hold something up and be like, this is me, this is something I've done?
It's really, really incredible, especially when it's something that you poured your heart into.
Yeah.
I was so particular in the whole book. I knew how I wanted the photos, how I wanted the recipes, how I wanted the recipes to be laid out. And there's loads of different parts of the book that I think are really special. All the photos tell some sort of story. There's a reason why this napkin is used or like this is used. It's like telling a story in it, and it makes it feel a lot more like rounded. I think the recipes themselves, I wanted to make sure that it was really accessible for everyone to make, because that's kind of ingrained in me from like with my mum and Mob Kitchen. It's very like accessible homemade recipes. So a lot of the recipes have substitutions in the ingredients list.
Nice.
So for example, if you don't have white wine vinegar, you can use this. If you don't have Worcestershire sauce, you can use an anchovy. Things like that, where people aren't going to have all the ingredients. And I also don't want people to go out to buy new stuff every time. You probably already got it.
And then they're not using it.
Exactly. So yeah, I think it's really, really special. And it's also so lovely to have a place where all the recipes are in one place, where you can actually spend a lot of time developing the recipe, whereas for Instagram the recipes are very different. They have to be quick and snappy and you know, very like sexy and like really gooey and all that sort of stuff.
There is a sort of like a TikTokification of like food, or like certain restaurants that get a lot of attention and like, oh, it's like a very TikTok restaurant. So it's nice to maybe like step back from some of that sensationalism.
Exactly. You just get to focus on making dishes that are really simple and delicious and fun and great to make at home.
And I have no idea like what it's like to make a recipe book, write a recipe book. How many of those recipes did you already have? Like, was it something you'd really wanted to do for a really long time?
So
how do you go about starting that process?
So I actually didn't want to write a cookbook
Right.
because I'm quite dyslexic and I don't like writing. And I was kind of like to my
totally fair.
agents, I don't want to do it, I'm scared.
yeah.
And then they kind of like coerced me. And they were like, oh, let's just have a chat with people and we'll see. And then one thing led to another and I got a cookbook
You're
deal.
like, wait, I can sell how many copies? Sure.
And they were like, what? And I was like, okay.
So I got a ghostwriter
So
and a ghost chef.
it's
to
not
do
even
it.
my book.
Yeah.
No, oh, sorry.
Oh, you're right.
I basically wrote the book on the premise that I was able to do it how I wanted it and able to develop the book during the process of it. So there wasn't really like a big idea at the beginning. We kind of developed it as I was doing, and I kind of wanted to make it how like I like to eat, and when I want to eat for dinner is kind of just what I'm on the mood for.
Yeah.
So that's why the book is like on your craving chapters.
Yeah.
So like today it's really hot, I want to eat something fresh.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
if it's raining, I want something comforting.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling bored, I might want something spicy. You know, if I'm having guests over, I need something special.
Yes.
Things so that's how it's like formatted. And I didn't have the recipes done beforehand. I think I had maybe 10 recipes that from my Instagram that I've just always really loved and wanted to involve in the book. But everything else I developed myself. I tested myself. Again, I tried to have no like regular recipes. So there's no like basic recipe that you'll find anywhere else in the world.
Right,
That
yeah.
Every single recipe is original.
Because everyone's already got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no recipe in the book that's similar to any other recipe in other books.
Yeah.
They're completely original and there's no like filler recipes.
And also, people are quite loyal to their. If you are doing like the basic stuff, they'll be like, "Oh no, that's like my spag bowl.
Exactly.
Or that's my lasagna."
Yeah,
So it's better to just like do your own thing.
I want to do different stuff, not something that I want you to find recipes in the book that are like special, not just like something you can find anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And then how long does it take from we're gonna write a book to holding it in your hands and selling it? How long is that
So
process?
2 years.
2 years. Oh my
2
God, that's a
years.
really long time.
Yeah, really long time. So I also fought for a year to write it. Wow. So sometimes it depends on the deal that you get.
Yeah,
I
of
really
course.
wanted a long time to write it because I wanted to like really focus on the recipes and like make sure that they're all perfect and have loads of time for it. So it was a year to kind of like develop the recipes and write it. And then another year, well, I guess it was like, actually maybe I guess like 6 months to write it and develop the recipes. Another 6 months to do like the copy and the text and all that sort of stuff. And then the whole process is about 2 years. And then there's the marketing, the photography, the design layouts. There's just so much involved in it. And then after the book comes out, you still have to do loads of marketing of like
things like this,
for example, videos, and a lot of that is on you. So you have to kind of figure out like, how do you want to promote the book? Well, I've got the Instagram page, so I figure it out.
You're an influencer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Perform monkey dance.
They're like, come on, you have to. The publisher's like, come on, then do it. I'm like, oh God, I thought I already did it.
Millions of views, please.
So then I had to like think of like creative ways to promote the book and like all that sort of stuff.
Just to like use zip lining with the book.
Anything. Falling off a cliff with the book.
That really surprised me. It's like not because it's a hard thing to do, but like that's a really long time to keep those ideas in your head. Were there loads of times you had to be like, I'm going to take some ingredients home, just cook something and see if I like this as a recipe? Was there a lot of like experimenting with your cooking for that?
Absolutely. And a lot of recipes, like thankfully my boyfriend who also cooks, I would cook a lot of things and he would try to be like, no, that's not very good. And I'd be like, please, please.
This is a really long day. Yeah.
It took me 7 hours.
Yeah.
And then we'll like have a little argument and then I'll make it.
You kick him out.
I'll kick him out and we'll both be crying. But then I'll get a recipe.
The
That's
recipe
like
book is
amazing.
born. Yeah.
So there's a lot of like blood, sweat and tears that goes into making the recipes because sometimes it'll be something like, oh, maybe I just got a bit lazy and I was like, oh, this will work. And then he eats it and he's like, oh, actually, it's not that good, is it? And it's quite good to have someone who knows like how good you can be and how much you can, how to make things better and things like that. So my brother and my mom are quite similar. So when I was testing at home, my mom would be like, oh, I didn't really like that one. And I'd be like, oh, God.
He's like the horrible chef. He's like, this is disgusting. You worthless. Shout to you. You get upset.
When I was actually living in my old flat, the guy who lived at the very bottom, he was also a chef in the building. And sometimes I would give him food. I remember I gave him this this like chocolate tart once, and he gave me some really ruthless feedback. And I remember he texted to me, and I was like, "What? I just thought I'd give you some chocolate tart." And he was like, "Well, didn't think that this was like sweet enough. This could have been like this, blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, God,
Oh, mate.
shut up and just tell me that you like it. Shut up."
That's so brutal. But here it is. Like
here it is, and it's
made.
really, and all the recipes are like really, really special.
What are the 2 favorite recipes if you had to pick? Or like you're most
I feel
proud
like they
of?
change a lot. At the moment, there's this like tomato Caesary salad, big. So it's like a Caesar salad, but without the mayonnaise. Big pieces of croutons that soak up like the tomato juices.
Very summery. We're in the
really
summer.
summery.
Yeah.
Basil, bacon as well. That's a really good recipe. There's also, I saw someone make it the other day, is a white chocolate and orange Basque cheesecake. And you can get it in the oven in 10 minutes.
That sounds really
You
good.
literally shove everything in the bowl, mix it together, shove it in the oven because there's no base.
Amazing.
So it's literally just everything in one
Dangerous.
bowl, mix and in the oven,
my
done.
God.
And also it's burnt. So
Yeah.
so it's not like, oh, you check on it. It's like,
nice.
no, it's fine.
Roast it.
Yeah, just
Wow.
burn it and you're done.
Well, I'm sure your book is linked on all of your
Yeah.
socials if you want to go and check it out.
Yeah.
What is next for you in terms of what you're doing with your career? Like, do you have targets that you like to meet? Have you got anything in the works?
Do you know what? No, I was actually saying the other day, I actually want boring plans only.
Yeah.
I've had enough adventures.
Busy is too
Yeah,
easy.
yeah,
Try and actually unplug. Yeah.
But let's just do nothing.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
just
yeah.
have no adventures.
Great
Let's-
idea, guys.
yeah.
What about we don't do anything?
How about we just don't do anything anymore?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
yeah,
that be so nice?
love
But
it.
no, I think I'm really happy creating content.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's always trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, and that's
Yeah.
just the ebbs and flows of social media. You need to always kind of be reinventing and figuring out what works and doesn't.
If you try and lay too much track ahead of you, it's like hard to
exactly,
pivot,
and like it's still always just figuring out what works and doesn't. So, and I'm really happy in the position that I am, where I can kind of test loads of things out.
Yeah.
And
keep yourself like
exactly, and I
loose
can make
fluid.
videos on loads of different types of things to keep me entertained and keep the world entertained, I
I'll
guess.
check you in 6 months, like carpentry.
Yeah,
No food.
exactly.
Yeah.
No food anymore. We just make food out of wood.
I wanted to ask you some foodie questions.
Yeah.
I noticed on your social media, you're a queen of hosting dinner parties.
Yes.
Can I ask, do you have dinner party advice for people if they are thinking of hosting? 'Cause it's quite an intimidating thing to
Yeah,
do.
it
To
is.
get people over to your house. It's
Exactly.
very like performative. It can be a bit
Yeah.
pressured. I notice you do it very well. What are your dinner party hacks?
So make it easy for yourself. Don't make complicated stuff.
Yeah.
Like people are there to hang out with you.
I love that.
They're not actually there to eat. Like think of the times you went to a dinner party. I don't remember what I ate. I actually have no idea.
Do you know what? That's really true.
What the last dinner party you went to? What do they make?
It's about the friends we make along the way.
Exactly. It literally does not matter at all. And
That's
like,
so true.
if you've had a dinner party, ask your friend, oh, what did I make? I bet you they'll have no idea.
Yeah.
And you probably were so stressed,
Yeah.
crying over the stove.
Yeah.
Oh, it's overdone. They have no idea.
So just make it easy.
Just make it easy.
Good
Make it
vibes.
as easy as you can. Whatever you like to make, that's really simple. Just do that, times it by 4.
I love it.
And you're done. Ask your friends to help.
Yeah,
Like
bring a
often
dish.
bring a dish, bring a dessert, maybe sometimes if I forget ingredients, I'm like, can you just get a lemon on the way?
Yeah.
You know, bring drinks. I would
And then
say
everyone feels like they're a part of it.
exactly. One thing that I love, I guess it just depends on how your kitchen's laid out, but having some seats in the kitchen.
Oh, it'd be part of the whole experience.
Yeah, because
totally.
sometimes you're still cooking and your friends are coming. You just
Yeah.
have a few chairs there so they can like sit and chill out
Yeah.
while you finish cooking, and also having just like a bag of crisps or some snacks beforehand.
temper the appetite,
Just with some bread. Bread is great.
Yeah.
Restaurants do that.
Oh, they buys you minutes.
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be full. They're not even gonna care what you make.
Put bread in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. That's so good. And then what's your relationship like with cooking food, given that your job is to cook food at the end of a long day?
Yeah.
Can you be asked to make food? What kind of food do you make for yourself?
Do you know what? I love it, and I love it even more now that I have a housemate.
Yeah.
When I used to live by myself, I would just kind of like, I don't know, get some noodles and
Yeah.
make them really, really simple. But now that I live with someone, I'm like, oh, I can actually make something really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love it. I can spend like an hour in the evening cooking something really nice for us and spend some time on it. I still really love it. And I think being able to like I've got a really nice greengrocer next to me where they
Nice.
always have like loads of different produce. Sometimes you can just go in there, grab some ingredients, and
Nice.
figure out what to make. And
So you're
it's
still
really fun.
cooking away. It's
Yeah.
not ruined it. I
No,
love
it's
that.
not ruined it yet. And I think sometimes it does ruin it. Sometimes I'll cook too much.
Yes.
And I'll cook like 3 or 4 times every day for like
Yeah.
6 weeks, and I'll be like, okay, I need a
Enough.
break. I need
Yeah,
a break.
yeah. After Christmas, because I cook at Christmas, I'm
Yeah.
usually like, it's enough. I'm not
No
doing it
more,
anymore.
no
2025, I won't cook. No,
Yeah. Sometimes you need a break. Yeah.
So I want to know, what's a weird / gross food combo that you secretly love?
So this is something that I used to eat a lot growing up. So it's garlic bread,
Yeah.
like the baguettes,
Yeah.
dipped in tea.
What?
like English breakfast sweet tea.
That is mad. That is really niche. Like, you know, like the frozen ones that they have the
No,
slices.
exactly those.
And you dip that in like a regular
Yeah,
tea.
yeah. I love it.
God, there's so many. Okay, what? Explain. Is it really good? So it'll soften up the bread,
It'll
right?
soften up the bread. I think in India you have chai with like garlicky, spicy things quite regularly.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's not that
crazy.
It's not that crazy. So we've always kind of had it growing
God.
up, and I love it. You kind of dip it in. It's a bit sweet. It's a bit garlicky.
Oh my God.
It's great.
Maybe just like bread and tea, like
Yeah.
flavored bread and tea is a
It's
whole
really
world.
good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Garlic bread and tea.
Yeah. What's yours?
So I this is a popular one, but I love ketchup and pasta with grated cheese. I know, like I love normal pasta,
Yeah,
but
but
if you told
ketchup-
me, James, we're having for dinner tonight.
For dinner.
And so,
It's not even like a
oh
snack.
God,
It's
no,
like
I'd
a
have it like
full-blown dinner.
Seema, I would literally, and big amounts. It was like, should we just get some pre-grated cheddar? And like, I genuinely
so
like half a
funny.
bottle of ketchup. I'll use the ketchup like
Wow.
tomato sauce. And it's because that's what I used to do when I was a kid, and I was just like, you know, you
You
didn't
should
know.
do that for a dinner party.
Just do that. Can you imagine like a huge platter
Yeah,
of it?
but
Parsley
they
on
would
top.
love it.
Oh my God.
It would be so funny.
It's really sugary as
Yeah.
well. Like, it is just amazing.
Everyone would have like a huge sugar rush.
But like a lot of people are very conflicted on it. It's sort of a hot topic. Some people are like you're an animal. But some people
yeah,
are like,
I
no,
don't
they
think I'd do
rate
it myself, but each their own.
That's okay. And then when you're hungover,
Yeah.
do you have a meal / ritual of a type of food you like to make when you're really suffering?
I love brothy things.
That's me.
Really
I'm
brothy.
ramen and pho.
Yeah, ramen, pho.
Pho, thank you. Pho, yeah.
Yes, anything brothy. I love.
Chicken soup, essentially.
Chicken
really,
soup.
isn't it?
I have an emergency dumpling soup.
Yeah.
Which is one of my first viral videos, and I used to make it all the time when I was hungover, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, let me just show people how to do it, and everyone was like, what?
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. You just get dumplings and some like chicken stock, like a
Yes.
stock cube, not even like proper broth.
Yeah.
Some soy sauce, and you're done. It's
Like
delicious.
salty umami chicken stock, like hydration
Yeah,
fluid, cleans you out.
exactly.
Like
It's
I just
so
think that's
good.
always
Yeah.
it's always a win. Like when I
Absolutely.
come back from a festival, I'm like, I want greens
Yeah.
and a broth.
Exactly,
to
just
sort of-
vegetables. I don't want to feel better.
Totally. Here's a good question. What food makes you instantly suspicious of someone if they don't like it?
Do you know what? Mushrooms.
Yeah.
If
I
s-
used to be that guy.
If you tell me you don't like mushrooms, I think you're a child.
Yeah.
And I think you're actually a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you don't like mushrooms? All mushrooms you don't like.
I think they never had nice mushrooms cooked for them. I think for a lot of people, their early experience of mushrooms is sort of like slimy, creamy.
But where?
I don't know.
Where
It's-
people? I've never had a slimy mushroom.
I think in like the beef stroganoff, there's like
That's
lots
quite
of
specific.
gross. I don't know. I never really grew up eating that, but that's like when I think of like mushrooms I used to not like. It was like
Right.
creamy, slimy mushroom, like just chestnut mushroom, and then I go into this whole world. You start like grilling them and doing different things, and the way they
Yeah.
infuse with flavor. And like this is a whole. They're like basically better than me.
Yeah, they are 100%.
Yeah, mushrooms are amazing.
They are amazing. And if you say you don't like mushrooms, I don't like you. To be honest, people who have really strong opinions about any sort of food
You're just
that they
wrong.
don't like, I'm
Yeah.
like, have you tried it enough?
There's a reason the world eats it.
Yeah,
it's
like
good.
I often think that people haven't had a good one of it. Even like dishes when they're like, oh, I don't like paella, for example.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
like, you probably just haven't had a good one.
Yeah.
Like, oftentimes people just haven't had a good one of things.
Mine is like people who don't cook.
Yeah.
I'm like, you will eat at least twice a day, every day for the rest of your life. And like you get one life. It's like a pillar of experiencing
Yeah.
the world
Yeah.
is eating. Do you not want to make nice food for yourself? That's such a red flag for me. It's
crazy.
like, no,
Yeah,
I don't
that's a
really,
red
I
flag.
don't know how I can do a little bit. And I'm like,
What do you do every day?
what do you do? What do you do
What
with the
do you
time?
do?
And like
Like, how busy are you?
yeah.
Why are you so busy?
Like, why don't you want to learn? You're like,
Yeah.
you're 30 now. You know, like,
What do you do every day? What do they eat?
I'm sure you do. I think about my dinner all day.
All day.
So I'll be messaging my partner. She's at
Yeah.
work, and I'm just be like, it'll be 11, and I'll be like, I'm thinking we do this,
Yeah.
this. She's like, I guess. I was like, cool. I'll pick it up. I'll do it all.
I can't. I have that. There's a thing called, what is it? It's not food. Not food envy, but it's like food noise is a thing apparently. And then
Right.
when someone said it, I was like, wow. When
Yeah.
you just think about food, like
Food
your
all the
next
time.
meal every single day, every single
Constantly.
moment of your life. All
It's a
I'm thinking,
survival
yeah,
mechanism
I
to
can't not.
live. Yeah. I think in the wild, I'd be thinking, when is the next?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're the normal ones.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a big question. Okay, so the aliens have come.
Okay.
Panic ensues.
Yes.
But actually, it turns out the aliens are actually kind of cool. They're
Okay.
like, oh, hi, just want to come down and say hi.
Right.
The world leaders are showing them all the 7 wonders of the world, Taj
Interest-
Mahal,
yeah.
we'll try the pyramids. They're like, we actually built the pyramids. We're
Yeah.
like, no way, we do it. And then they're like, what do you guys like to do for food around here?
Yeah.
And they go, Seema, you make food all the time.
Yeah.
Where are you taking the aliens for their first meal? And they've also said, if it's not good, we'll destroy all of you. So where are you going
Right.
to, big pressure.
Right.
What is the best human food that you could offer?
I don't think I would actually take them to my mum's.
Oh, I love that.
That's what I would do.
Shout out to
because
Mum.
there is no. I was thinking, because I think I would want them to try Indian food because the spice of it,
Yeah.
I think would shake them up a
Mess
little
them up.
bit.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
rattle them around.
Yeah, like let's see
Yeah.
if they can handle
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Test them a bit.
Exactly.
Create a power
know
dynamic.
that we're in control.
Yes.
Not them.
I like that. Yeah. Well, all of us can eat this.
Yeah,
We're all fine
yeah.
with it. Yeah.
Oh, you can't handle the spice. Ooh,
shame.
Yeah. Better be careful.
I love that. That's great.
And then
I
my
think that's
mum would just make a fantastic platter of a million things.
I love that.
So it would be like really homely.
Yes.
So if they think they're safe.
Yes, the wrong answer is to be like 3 Michelin star restaurant.
No,
Home
no.
cooking.
Yeah, home cooking.
Love. Yes.
Love, but with a lot of spice.
Yes,
So they're
yeah.
a little bit scared.
I love that. That's a fantastic answer. Okay, before we wrap up, I want to ask you some quick fire
Okay.
food questions.
Okay.
And when I say quick fire, Seema, I mean it. Like, I want like your raw,
Right.
unedited,
Okay.
unfiltered
Okay.
answer. It's going to be like a this or a that.
Okay.
And you have to answer quickly, and it's
Okay.
going to reveal quite a lot about Seema's food preferences.
I'm scared.
So, Seema,
Yeah.
I want to know quick fire. Which of these you prefer?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Ice cream in a cone or in a cup?
Cone.
Is a hot dog a sandwich or is a hot dog a hot dog?
Hot dog.
Pineapple on pizza or pineapple off pizza?
Pineapple on pizza.
Oh, you're crazy. Center of tray brownie or edge of tray brownie? I think center. Ketchup in fridge or out of fridge?
I don't have ketchup.
Is it okay to dip chips in your milkshake / ice cream
Yes.
or never dip chips?
Yes.
Yes, it's okay.
Yes, next.
Is it okay to have ketchup with steak or never with steak?
If you want.
On a hot day, ice in wine or no ice in wine?
Ice.
Still water or sparkling water?
Still.
Sandwiches cut in triangles or squares?
Triangles.
Is it okay to eat in bed or disgusting to eat in
Disgusting.
bed? Cheese or chocolate?
Cheese.
Oh, very short there. Right, you're going into a corner shop after a night out. You can pick one chocolate bar. What are you getting?
Bueno.
Bueno, yeah, it's a good shout. It's a
Bueno.
good shout. Those were all my questions. That was good. I enjoyed
Yeah.
those. Some
Scary.
big answers. So you're a pineapple on pizza girl.
I like it.
Yeah, interesting.
But I do actually just like, I'm getting to the stage where I like marinara,
yeah. Okay.
which is quite rogue. Like,
Yeah.
just nothing.
Yeah, just crazy raw dog
Yeah.
life. Yeah. Cheese.
Yeah.
You went chocolate.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, you
I
chose cheese. You chose cheese.
Cheese, but off the pizza.
Yes.
Pineapple on the pizza.
Yeah. Someone was asking me if you could only have mozzarella or parmesan for the rest of your life, what would you choose?
Parmesan.
But that's the thing. So I originally thought parmesan because there's so much umami and richness in there, but then I'm saying no to like pizza forever. Which
But you
is
can
really
have parmesan
tough.
on pizza.
Yeah, but it's not mozzarella though, is it? Of course you can. You can have anything on pizza. It's
Yeah, but
insane.
what if you have like stracciatella? That's not mozzarella, technically.
That's true. Yeah.
Loophole.
But burrata.
Yeah,
Is a loophole.
exactly. Just like the outside of the burrata.
Well, that was great. I hope it either gained you loads of fans or just lost you like a million
Amazing.
cheese advocates. But Seema, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for
Really
having
appreciate
me.
speaking to you. And yeah, you can check out Seema's book and at Seema Gets Baked
Yes.
on all socials. And yeah.
Great.